Yes, very good morning. So in our last class, we discussed about wind power and maximum wind power with related to the small derivation also we discussed in our last class. And today we are going to discuss a design consideration of a windmill. Okay, and this design consideration is for horizontal windmill. So we commonly used horizontal windmill. So that this design consideration is for horizontal windmill. Okay, so the common wind turbine with a horizontal. So we are considering for horizontal. So horizontal windmill. Uh, this is for horizontal axis. Okay, and it's a very simple construction. We already discussed in our construction of windmill. So this horizontal one is a very simple in construction and also simple in a working principle. But the design of the entire system, is somewhat complicated. Okay, especially with a larger one. Okay, if you go with a larger one means a more power generation in the windmill. Okay, so the design will become a complicated, and not only in the individual components such as a rotor. Okay, some of the individual components like a rotor, a transmission system, a generator, and a tower. Okay, tower is also very important. It provides the support. Okay, and be an efficient if it is possible. But these components must function effectively in combination. That is most important. Okay, so the designing of these components, if you design very well, then the wind will operate with effectively and it will give the maximum power output. Just a minute. Okay, so first important thing is a rotor design. So the design consideration in that the important part design is a rotor design. A rotor, it's a wind turbine rotor. It maybe have any number of blades. Means this rotor have any number of blades, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like this. It have a number of blades which may be made up of. These blades can made up of a wood. Okay, in earlier days these blades are made by wood. Okay, and they are used for only a small applications, not with the larger applications, only for the pumping of water. Okay, for that purpose they are using, and these blades are made by wood, and later it comes with the metals. And nowadays we are using a composite materials. So the design of this blade, okay, the manufacturing of these blades are made with a composite materials. The composite materials have so many advantages like lightweight with a weight ratio. It's a strength to weight ratio, means it provides the very good strength with a nominal weight. With a nominal weight it provides the very good strength. And these some of the composites like the reinforcement. Okay, and with a reinforced plastics also we are using, the glass epoxy resins also we are using. Okay, so many composite materials, and these combinations will provide a better efficient when compared to the metals, or if we go with the wood. Okay, compared to the wood or alloy, this composite will provide the better strength for the blades, and also they will easily rotate. And future blades may use a carbon fibers in the future. Okay, in the future if you go with the carbon fibers, okay, and if you go with the carbon fibers or nano fibers, it may become a costlier. That's why we also think about the cost also. Okay, so that present days only we are with a small nominal composite materials, but in future these blades can made with a carbon fibers, which combines a lightweight and very flexible. It should be very flexible with a immense strength. Okay, it should have a very high strength with a very flexible, means with a small wind it can able to rotate. Okay, so the most common type of machine, the rotor is mounted on a horizontal. Yes, it is horizontal. That's why we discussed on this horizontal shaft, and it is connected either a generator or a mechanical devices. Always we already discussed in our parts. Okay, so this is a rotor, it is connected with the shaft, horizontal shaft. The rotor always connected with the horizontal shaft, and this another end of the shaft may connect with the generator or mechanical devices. In turn, they will convert that wind energy into mechanical energy through this shaft. The whole assembly is mounted on a tower so that it turns clearly onto the ground. Means it won't touches the ground. It should be run, or it should be turned clearly. It won't subject to any kind of disturbances, okay, or any kind of obstructions. It should be rotate very clearly and away from the surface drag and the interface. That is most important thing. From the performance point of view, the taller the tower, we already know that taller the tower, better because of wind speed increases with height. This is what we already know, that if you go with a very higher the height, higher the wind speed, and you will get the more power. That's why we are always installed with a taller wind tower when compared to the smaller ones. Smaller ones generate a very small power because of small wind availability. In the ground or in the surface, the wind availability is very less. That's why if we go with the higher heights, it produces a more wind, okay, so more energy. So many many turbine designs have been built for years, and these have includes a machine with a single or counterbalanced blades or multiple blades with a rotor, and these turbines with a 2 or more set of counter and rotating blades on the same shaft. The rotor may have constructed with a cup. The rotor may have constructed with a cup or a pedal or a ring or rigid wooden spade. It may be a curve, it may be a cup, it may be a pedal, it may be a rigid wooden, or it may be a ring. Okay, it's a spade, and it easily mount. And rotor can mounted upward. It's always mounted on upwind and downwind of the supporting towers. And this horizontal rotor can be either lift or drag devices. We already know that lift and drag forces are subjected while it is rotating, and it's a two type of devices. One is a lift and one is a drag devices. Okay, and the lift devices are generally preferred since for a given swept area and high rotational speed and more output power, we always prefer lift. Okay, so lift devices we less prefer for drag devices. Okay, why? Because it have a high swept area, high rotational speed and more power. If the high rotational speed is there or high swept area is there, obviously it will generate the more power output developed by lift than the drag force. In general, these drag devices cannot move faster than the wind velocity, while lift devices easily can rotate and can move very faster. Thus, the lifting surfaces can obtain higher torque to the wind speed and consequently with a high power output ratio. And for many applications with a lower cost power output, this we can prefer. And these small rotors can spin up to 500 to 600 revolutions per minute. Means in a per minute it can able to rotate 400 to 500 revolutions with a smaller rotors, a smaller size rotors, because smaller size more will be the rotation speed. With the blade, we already discussed that blade speed tip ratio. And if the speed of 8 to 10 km per hour. A very large rotor blades, okay, typically they rotate 20 to 40 RPM, means 20 to 40 rotation per minute, because they are very large. But the blade tip ratio is comparatively 60 to 110 meter per second or 250 to 400 kilometers per hour. So lesser the rotations, more will be the tip ratio. So more the rotations, lesser will be the tip ratio. That is what we know. And these drag devices are very less efficient. We already know that only we prefer the tip devices, and these drag devices are very less efficient, and the wind energy conversion, okay, converts and always turns more slowly than the wind. Okay, if the wind speed is there, so in turn it will reduce that rotational speed. The measure, so these are the some drawbacks designing. Okay, so these are the some designing a complex process. The designing of wind energy conversion I already explained. It's a complex process. Why? Because of these hurdles. These are the some hurdles we are going to face at the time of installation of that wind mills, okay, or at the time of operations. The first thing is the environmental conditions. The environmental conditions to which the turbine is exposed can be severe and unpredictable. We already know that these wind turbines or windmills are made by the metals or some of the composite materials. Okay, they are very sensitive with the environment. If the environment having a more moisture, or it is maybe a form of storms, or maybe with a very high wind speed, then we cannot predict any type of power output, because it may destroy everything. That is the first, the environmental conditions. That is the first hurdle what we are going to face. That's why it has become a complicated process. Second thing is structural dynamics. Structural dynamics means because of the rotations, we should provide say proper support, proper foundations, okay, and it should observe all sort of vibrations which are produced at the time of rotations. Okay, while rotation, these are all mechanical devices. So mechanical devices at the time of rotations, it may produce any kind of forces, okay, undesirable forces that we should avoid. That's why it need a very structural dynamic, a strong structural dynamic. That is also very difficult. And third thing is material science and economics are to be applied and to develop machines which are reliable. So we should apply material science for better designing. With the help of different composite materials or different combination of materials, we can go with a lightweight, with a very high flexible and a very high strength. And also it should be very economical one. It should not be costlier one. So these things are going on. So this is also very complicated process, because you should reduce the price and also increase the strength. So it's a very challenging task. And efficient and cost effective means it should be efficient. It means only we know that only 30 to 45% of the wind is converted into energy. So that efficiency we should increase, okay, by proper designing it. So it's a very challenging task. And in this rotor design, okay, the important thing is a radius of the rotor. The first parameter what we are going to use is a rotor, radius of the rotor, or diameter. This is what the diameter of the swept area what we are calculating. That swept area is because of this rotor area, rotor radius, and number of the blades. Okay, so if you go with a more number of the blades, of course it will rotate faster, but also it will reduce the efficiency, because it will increase the weight. And tip speed ratio, that is what most important. Tip ratio is it's a ratio of speed of the rotor tip to the free wind speed. So tip ratio is it's a ratio of speed of the rotor, okay, to the free wind speed. It's a ratio of speed of the rotor tip to the speed of the wind speed. So it is also more important, okay. And design, lift and coefficient of the aerofoil, and angle of attack of the aerofoil. So this is one major drawback, this aerofoil blades, okay. So this aerofoil, the major disadvantages with a rotor with a slender aerofoil blades, it is that they will not start up without first beginning rotation, or rotated to the lift. Means we have to provide some external source of power to rotate the first rotation. So that is a drawback. And the ratio of this, it is by a solidity. Solidity of the rotor means it's a ratio of a projected area of the rotor. It's a ratio of projected area of the rotor to the swept area of the rotor. A projected area of the rotor to the swept area of the rotor, we can denote it by a solidity of the rotor. Okay, and this solidity is for some of the different turbines having different solidity. Some of the turbines with a more blades, okay, in the American forms we get nearly 0.7. So 0.7. And for the high speed lift profiler, on the other hand, the solidity is usually much lower than 0.1 to 0.001. Okay, so these are some considerations. And the next is radius of the rotor. Just only we discuss radius of the rotor. So the radius of this rotor, okay, the rotor is primarily depends on the power expected. The rotor is always directly proportional to the power expected from the turbine. And with the high strength of the wind, it resumes in its operates, and various losses involves in the energy conversion process, and also it is to be considered and if the power expected from the turbine, it is at design point, we can go with some relationship called P D, which is equal to 1 by 2 CPD nu D nu G rho A AT VDQ. Okay, so where this Cp is a design power coefficient, we already know that Cp is a power coefficient of the rotor, and nu D is a efficiency. Nu means efficiency. So efficiency of the drive train means what are the gears what we are using, that drive trains, the efficiency of the gear trains. If more efficiency the gear trains, it will provide the more power. So it is, they are directly proportional. And nu G, it is the generator efficiency. Nu means efficiency, G means generator, generator efficiency. See, it's a generator efficiency. So efficiency of generator is higher, directly it provides the more power output. And Vd, so it is a design wind velocity. We already know that V or Vd means it's a design wind velocity. And AT means it's a swept area. And for all design systems, the design power coefficient CPD, okay, maybe ranges from 0.4 to 0.45, and it combines efficiency of the driven gear train and generator may take on 0.9. It will take the more the efficiency. It is nearly 0.9 means 90% of the efficiency we are going to consider. So that it can reduce the radius of the rotor can be estimated by R is equal to, okay, I want radius, okay, so R is equal to this A, okay, this A is there. So area is equal to pi by 2, okay, R square, okay, area means pi by 2 R square or pi by 4 D square. So here I want radius, so this area is replaced by radius, so R is equal to 2 PD by CPD nu D nu G rho A pi VD cube into root. So this equation if you use, it gives the proper radius of the rotor. It gives the radius of the rotor. So if the design is to be based on the energy, if the rotor radius is based on the energy, okay, so previous one is the rotor radius is based on the efficiency, and here the rotor radius is based on the energy, then the equation will changes. R is equal to root of 2EA by nu S rho A pi VMT, where nu S is overall efficiency of the system. VM means is the mean wind velocity. It's a mean wind velocity over a period, and T is the number of hours in the period. By using this equation, we can find out if we, in terms of energy. In terms of efficiency, we can go with the previous equation. Okay, and the next consideration is tip speed ratio. This is all we already discussed in our previous class. So this tip speed ratio means it is given by a ratio of, it's a ratio of V tip by V. Means V tip means a speed of rotor tip, a speed of the rotor tip to the a free wind speed, that gives the tip ratio. And next is a number of blades. So number of blades in the rotor is directly related to the design tip ratio, and higher the tip speed ratio, the lower would be the number of blades. If number of blade increases, tip ratio decreases. If number of blade increases, okay, decreases, the tip ratio increases. They are in reverse, opposite. You just observe the graph. So in this graph, it's a number of blade versus tip ratio. If tip ratio increases, number of blade decreases. Okay, and if tip ratio decreases, number of blade increases. So by choosing proper tip ratio and proper blades, we can go with the optimum generation of power. So next is some of the force exerted on the blade. That is what the force and thrust on the blades and the turbine. Thrust means it's a force or a load. Okay, so load is existed on the turbine or blades. There are two types of forces that are acting on the blade. Okay, one is circumstantial force acting in the direction of the wheel rotation. Okay, and axial force. One is a circumferential force and other one is an axial force acting in the wind stream. and this we can given by the ratio which is T is equal to P by omega. Okay, so where T is the torque, which is always in terms of Newton. Okay, torque, it is always in terms of Newton, and omega is the angular velocity. Omega is an angular velocity. Okay, and d is the diameter. So omega is equal to pi dn. We already know that the equation for omega is equal to pi dn, where d is the diameter, n is the rotation. It is in terms of rpm. Okay, so finally that d, if you want diameter d, so d is equal to root 4 by pi a into m. Okay, where n is the wheel rotation per minute, and the real efficiency it can given by nu is equal to P by P total. This is what we already discussed in our P total equation, so or P maximum, power maximum equation. So efficiency is equal to, okay, so output power by total power, or maximum power by total power. So that is what point, okay, 59 for according to the Bend's law, but actually we know that only it is 30 to 45% maximum. And for the turbine operating at a power, and the expression for the torque will become T is equal to, okay, so the T is equal to nu rho A by 2 Gc, okay, Gc is a constant, we can consider it as a 1, and Vt cube by pi dn. Okay, you just neglect this gravity, okay, G, and T is equal to, we can also write T is equal to nu 1 by 8 G rho d Vt cube by n. Okay, at the maximum efficiency, we already know that it is a 59.3 according to the Bend's, but the torque maximum value, if you want torque maximum, it is T maximum is equal to 2 by 27 Gc rho d Vt cube by n. If you want to find out the torque maximum, you have to use this equation. And also F, it's a force. Okay, the force it is at certain instant. It can given by force is equal to 1 by 2 Gc rho A V I means inlet and exit. Velocity at inlet square minus velocity at exit square. This equation we already know that in our previous classes. And it can finally given by pi 8 Gc rho D square Vt square minus Ve square. And by substituting, we already know that this is we derived in our power maximum. We see V2 or V exit Ve, which can be given by 1 by 3 Vi or V1 means inlet velocity. So by substituting, finally we can write this F force is equal to pi by 9 Gc rho d square Vi means V1 square. Either you can consider V1 or Vi. And it can be seen that the axial force are proportional to the square of the diameter. First is square of the diameter of the turbine wheel, and it limits the turbine wheel diameter for a larger size, if you go with a larger size turbine wheel. And the last consideration is solidity. We already know that solidity is a factor of the wind turbine. It is defined as ratio of blade area or circumference to the rotor area, swept area to the rotor area, and it is given by, okay, so it is given by the way n is the number of blades which is used, and b is the width of the blade, and d is the diameter of the blade, and the ratio. So it is alpha, it is determines the quantity given by alpha is equal to nb by pi d, where n is the number of blades, b is the width of the blade, and d is the diameter of the blade. By using this, we can find out the solidity of the blade. And the next concept is a consideration for selection of a site for a wind energy conversion system. Okay, so it is also very important, means how we install the wind turbines. So what are the criteria or what are the some considerations we are going to face at the time of selection of site. Selection of site means where we are going to install the wind turbine. That area we can call it as a site. Clear? So these are some factors we are going to face The availability, first is availability of enormity data. Okay, so that means so enormity means an instrument. An instrument, it's an instrument for measuring the and indicating the force or the speed of the direction of wind. So first we have to see, just a minute. Yes, first we have to see the site is with the wind direction, okay, and the quality of the wind as well as the wind direction. That is the first thing we have to consider. Second is annual, the high annual average wind speed. Means the wind, we need a more wind speed. If the more wind speed, more will be the power generation. If the less wind speed, less power generation. So we have to consider the annual wind speed. If the annual wind speed means for per year, if we consider that annual wind speed is very high, then we can go with that site. You cannot install the windmills near Davangere or near Haryana because the wind speed is very less, annual wind speed is less. But you can install near Chitradurga because the wind speed is high. And the next consideration is availability of the wind curve or the proposed site. Means the availability of the wind curve. That is most important, the change of the wind direction. Okay, so that wind curve should be good. If the wind curve should be good, it can easily rotate the wind blades and it easily produce the lift force and drag force. So next consideration is wind structure or the proposed site. So wind structure, the pattern of the wind. Okay, so whether it's a local wind or it may be a global wind, so the pattern of the wind is also important. So we know that at the surface we get the local wind structure, and at the top, if you go with a higher height, we get the global wind pattern. Okay, so it is also very contribute. If the more wind structure is there, we can easily install our windmills. The altitude of the proposed site, that is also most important. Altitude, latitude, longitudes. So these are all very important because so this altitude directly proportional to the sun, because our wind energy is indirectly proportional to the sun. If more sun energy available, that will cause us the heat up our atmosphere and it will cause the more wind speed. So that latitude of that wind site, the proposed site, is also very important. Terrain and its aerodynamic. So that is an we already know that aerodynamic design. Okay, so that is what we made the blades with the aerodynamic design. So if the blades are aerodynamic design and that wind is also support for that aerodynamic design, so that it will easily rotates our blade and generates the energy. That is also one of the consideration. And local ecology. So local ecology is also important. Means if there is any disturbances, okay, or that locality is suffered from any volcanoes activities or any other natural disasters, that is also you have to take care. And the next thing is the distance to the road or railway. Means if the location is very near to the railway or roads, we can easily carry over our devices and easily install the devices. If the location is very far from the roads and the railways, and the transportation is become very costlier and it is become very tedious problem. So that the distance to the road and railway is also very important for that location. And nearer to the site, to the local center or users. Means okay, we will install successfully and we start generating the power from the wind, and ultimately it will complete with usage. If the users or the local centers is very near, then it will reduce the loss of the energy, because if we with a very effective 40 to 60% efficiency we generate the energy. And next, if the users or local centers are very far, then it will need the transportation system, okay, and it need a very large lines, okay, and it may cause us some losses. Okay, we generated 100 megawatt, means finally we can get only 60 megawatt. That 40 megawatt is wasted because of the transportation. That is another problem. Okay, we very near to the local centers or users, it is better to install. And favorable land cost, means we can also check the land cost. If very high cost, means we cannot go with that, because it may become a very costlier, or we cannot destroy the agricultural land. We cannot simply install on the agricultural land, because agriculture is the backbone of our India, so we cannot disrupt that agriculture. So like this, we have to see the land cost and land locations and nature of ground. So that is also important. If the nature of ground means whether it is covered with a water, or it may be covered with the hilly regions, or this is what the surface of that ground, that is also very important. So based on these considerations, we are going to select the site where we can effectively install the windmill. Okay. So these are the very important considerations. We cannot go with against to these considerations. If we, of course, we can go with against, but what happens? It may become very costlier, and whatever the power generation is become very costlier, or we may not get the expected power outcome. Means because of the less wind speed, we get the less power. So like this, we have to face the some of the drawbacks. So to avoid that one, to predict that one, we have to go with these some considerations. So next is a numerical problems. So in my next class, I am going to discuss a problems on. So for what we discussed, power, maximum power, and force, okay, and torque. So based on those equations, we are going to solve some numericals.